What if your final destination had already been written, etched into the cosmos, and you were simply walking the path toward it without knowing? What if heaven and hell were real, not as abstract metaphors or religious folklore, but actual destinations shaped by forces beyond our imagination, or worse, by your own? In today's special extended episode, we go to the edge of existence, and then over it, we're exploring heaven and hell, not just as places, but as ideas, memories, fears, hopes, prisons, and maybe even choices. What if they're real? And what if they're not at all what you were promised? Welcome to Parallel, a mix of storytelling and thought-provoking what-if scenarios, combining narrative fiction and analysis that includes real-world science, philosophy, and potential real-world implications. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so that you do not miss out on the next episode. Because, one reality, says T-Boom, is never enough.
This must be it. There's no other explanation. The air isn't air. It's clarity. No weight. No fear. No ache in my back. No tightness in my chest. No clock ticking on the wall. They welcomed me, not by name, but by knowing. They knew me. The way a parent knows a child who hasn't spoken yet. The way you know someone you've missed but can't place. There was no pain here. No death. No hunger. Just peace. Endless peace.
I didn't hear the screams, not at first. What I heard was silence. A silence so deep it rang in my ears like pressure before a storm. The heat was there, but not fire. It was memory, regret, concentrated. I tried to speak, but no words came. Not because I wasn't allowed, but because I didn't know what to say. What can you say when everything you ever did wrong is being replayed before you? The walls weren't red, they were mirrored, and each mirror didn't show my reflection. They showed moments. Every time I lied, every time I let someone down, every cruelty I called justified, every silence that let injustice speak. Hell isn't fire, it's recognition. Brutal, raw, recognition.
We first need to investigate the history of heaven and hell. So let's walk backwards through time. Before hell was fire and heaven was sky, they were something else. In Zoroastrianism, the ancient Persian religion that likely shaped much of Western theology, there was a cosmic battle between light and dark. At death, your soul walked the Chinvat bridge. If you were righteous, the bridge widened into paradise. If you were wicked, it narrowed, and you fell. In ancient Egypt, the soul faced judgment before Osiris. A feather determined your fate, too heavy with sin, and you were devoured. The Greeks had Hades, a murky underworld, not cruel, just gray. But in later myths, Elysium and Tartarus appeared, early prototypes of reward and punishment. Christianity and Islam introduced eternity, but it was Dante, in his Inferno, who truly painted hell as a place of poetic justice. And it was Milton, in Paradise Lost, who made Satan the tragic anti-hero, almost sympathetic. In the East, things were different. Hinduism and Buddhism saw life and death as cycles. Karma determined rebirth. Hell, like Naraka, existed, but as temporary, a place to burn away sin before re-entering life. In all these views, ancient and modern, heaven and hell served a function, to make this life meaningful. What about the science and psychology of heaven and hell? Belief in the afterlife is surprisingly rational, even for the non-religious. Psychologists talk about terror management theory, the idea that the awareness of death shapes how we behave. When we believe in something after death, we cope better. We take fewer risks. We're kinder to people like us, though often crueler to those who aren't. Pascal's wager famously argued that it's safer to believe in God, because if you're wrong, you've lost nothing. But if you're right, and you didn't believe, you've lost everything. Statistically, those who believe in heaven tend to be more generous and hopeful. Those who believe in hell are more law-abiding, but also more anxious. Here's the twist, though. Too much fear of hell can traumatize. Too much confidence in heaven can make us complacent. In the end, belief in the afterlife can both elevate us and imprison us. It's time to look at some speculative possibilities. Let's break the rules. What if heaven and hell aren't physical places, but states of consciousness, accessible by memory, or regret, or love? What if an AI, trained on your entire life, your data, your choices, your Google searches, could judge your soul better than a deity? What if hell is empty? Because redemption is always possible. What if you could choose? Not once, but daily. You wake up each morning and declare, "Heaven today," and you live accordingly. What if the afterlife isn't what you face, but who you face, and that who is yourself? Now imagine it's real, proven, documented. Heaven and hell exist. What would be the societal impact? There's a recording, a broadcast. Someone dies and comes back with coordinates, descriptions, rules. How would the world change? Would governments collapse, or would they rush to codify salvation? Would billionaires give it all away? Would religions unify or tear each other apart? Would crime disappear or spike? Because if hell is real, what's left to fear? Would we game the system? Build tech to cleanse souls before death? Or worse, would we judge each other mercilessly, knowing how high the stakes are? Maybe heaven and hell are places. Maybe they're people. Maybe they're memories. Maybe they're projections of what we think we deserve. But maybe they're real. Not because we go there, but because they come with us. Heaven, when you hold a child and feel the world stop. Hell, when you know you've hurt someone and can't take it back. Heaven is grace. Hell is truth. And earth is the place we get to choose between them every day. And that might be the greatest gift of all. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Parallel. If you have an idea for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow its audience. Until the next episode, remember, one reality is never enough.